What's up, everybody? Shanda here, and welcome to the Healing Lifestyle Podcast. In this podcast, I am bringing you everything tools, motivation, inspiration, rituals, and disciplines for living your day to day life while also being on your healing journey. So, today's podcast episode, I do not have a guest. You get me. Oops, oops, oops. But what I want to do is I kind of want to run it back a little bit. In the words of one of my dearest friends, Vanessa, I want to spin the block a little bit. And I realized that I just started this podcast. I was inspired, I was led to do it. And I never shared with you guys like who I am or how I became a medium and like how I actually got on my healing journey to live the life that I am living now. So, hey, y'all, hey. My name is Shanda. I'm an ancestral medium and a movement healer. Even more importantly, my story. So I've never really shared it before, like for real. So I'm sharing it with you guys. In 2019, we were on the brink of COVID. And at that time, I was pregnant and found out that I was having twin boys. Now, 2 years before that, I had just gotten married. And 3 years before that, I had just lost my mom. So I had these series of events happening, causing grief, causing celebration, causing a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of, it starts with a R. These just like revelations of things about myself that I was learning throughout that entire time. Really discovering how much of a people pleaser I actually was, discovering how much I was trying to control relationships and situations in my life by people pleasing, realizing that people pleasing is actually manipulation. So, learning all of that about myself, learning how I push people away, learning how I suppressed grief with losing my dad when I was 15 and then my mom almost 10 years later. And now it's 2019 and I'm pregnant and I'm about to give birth to two African American males. And George Floyd hasn't even happened yet. Okay. And I was already scared. I was scared of how do I empower them in the world that I was living in. And I was really more so terrified of learning so much about myself, so much of, even though I felt like my intentions were pure, how I was really damaging a lot of the relationships in my life. And I was terrified that I would be passing these traits, these mindsets, and these limiting beliefs down to my kids. And that was like the last thing that I wanted. I was already seeing a medium before then, once a year. Once my dad passed, I was living in California for grad school and pursuing a professional dance career. And I would check in with a medium like once a year. And just to kind of like check in with how my dad was doing, get any insights on what God kind of had for me. This time was like a little bit different. I needed more. My mom was gone as well. And we had a family friend who had just kind of announced to people that she was a medium. And I was like, yo, if anybody can connect me to my parents, get me what I need to make sure I'm a good mom, I knew it was her. And so I started going to her like once a month for readings because not only was she connecting me to my parents, she was also teaching me how to meditate. And she began teaching me how to pray and journal around connecting to my parents and working through all the things that were coming up for me. And so that was really the beginning of my healing journey. I didn't even know I was healing. I was just calling it getting my ish together so I don't mess up my kids. Like that's what I was calling it. And I started off by she just taught me get a picture of your parents, place it somewhere in your room or somewhere in a different room. And in the mornings, just wake up and talk to them and listen for what they say. And then just journal about what they're telling you about. Think about all the things that they may have told you, these limiting beliefs of like, I had this thing when I was growing up where my mom would buy me like real jewelry, like an elementary kid, like real jewelry. And I would get in trouble if I like messed it up, or she would dress me in these really gorgeous clothes. And if I messed it up or I played too rough or my Shirley Temple curls got messed up, I started a lot of these limiting beliefs of I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, I don't deserve nice things. And so being able to sit with my mom and meditate with her, even though she had passed away, on working through all of these things and rewriting out the truths that I am worthy, that I am enough. And that really started my healing journey. And so that family friend then became my teacher. And she was really just guiding me on how to become a woman, really understanding what marriage truly is, preparing for motherhood, understanding what it's going to take and what was expected of me as a mom, especially a mom who's now I didn't know I was undergoing a spiritual awakening, but a mom who wanted to raise her kids very aware of herself so that my kids could be aware of themselves. And that led me on starting to understand and learn what chakras were. We had went through Hurricane Ida here in New Orleans. And so I had time. So I started studying what chakras were. Then we were in COVID. All of these things were happening that basically put me in a space of time. I began to learn what chakras were, understanding yoga principles and movement, and I just started apply. I just was applying. I was just taking all the information in and applying it to my life. Looking at how I was eating, I had a C-section, so I was trying to get back into working out. I had just came off of bodybuilding. I was dancing professionally, being a personal trainer, and my body was not responding to none of that. Heavy weights was not working. I felt disconnected from being a dancer because now my body looked and moved differently. And I started going, okay, I need to figure out what this is going to look like for me on a day to day. Learning about my chakras, learning about crystals, beginning to understand and work with herbs, all of these things. I was like, but movement was like the missing piece for me. And I was like, I still got to move my body. Like I am a mover, right? And the workouts I was doing didn't feel satisfying. And so I was like, well, what if I take these principles and I just start to set my intention on my workouts? Let me just start doing that. And so I began to just go in the gym, set an intention. I had a chakra, I still use them, y'all, my chakra wisdom deck card. I will pull a card. And then as I was working out, I could start almost like feeling like I was hearing my parents. I would hear God. I would get all this like clarity and information during my workouts. And then I would start journaling after my workouts. And it would feel like this breakthrough wasn't just happening spiritually anymore. I could feel the release in my body. Then I started losing weight. Then the inches, then all my toning started coming back. And I was like, yo, I think I'm on to something. So I started shifting my workout sessions with my clients. And I was like, okay, I think I got a new way for us to work out. And I would just try it on a few clients, try it on a few clients. And we started having real breakthroughs. I had a client that's when I started hearing other people's voices. And I was like, things are happening. Why am I hearing other people that's not my parents? And I started sharing with clients what I was getting. And I started getting visions of what their workouts needed to look like, visions on what was going on in their bodies. And I started applying this to their workouts. And I had clients who didn't know they could thought their cycle would never come back down again, and now their cycle's coming down, or now we're finally getting them to lose this weight. And I was like, yo, I can offer like the same service with a deeper purpose. And so that's where my mediumship, me becoming a medium, really started kicking in. And then everything I just started applying it to everything that I was doing in my life. And boom, I looked up and I was fully in it. I just committed to it, learned as much as I could, and I was fully in it and beginning to apply it, more importantly, to my lifestyle. It changed the complete way of how I live. So, meditating, really trying to journal everything out, understanding what my triggers were, understanding what my wounds were, learning, and I'm still in it, y'all, okay? But learning how to accept myself for exactly how I am, learning about codependency, learning about my anxious attachments. So I'm learning and experiencing and healing all of this while also putting it out into the world. And so that's when our spirit was like, it's a lifestyle. Like, this is a lifestyle. You don't just go heal in the corner and then go outside your house and go do something else. Like, this is a lifestyle. This is what, you're being led to share. This is a part of your calling. And so that's how I wound up in this space, being able to share this with y'all. Um, Along that journey, again, I learned about crystals, learning herbs. I'm always still learning. We always still learning. But I'm going, it's deeper now, really practicing herbalism, um, teaching people to have spiritual baths, how to connect to their ancestors, what that entire process looks like, how to use movement and dance and medicine as meditation and as a form of not just healing yourself for physical needs, but also healing yourself for spiritual and mental and emotional needs. So my business has always been called Domango Training because I was always a personal trainer. But now it's really about training, teaching people how to train their bodies, their minds, and their spirits when it comes to healing and wholeness and ascension and really living a healing lifestyle. My boys, it's crazy, y'all. I wouldn't have never thought in 1,000 years that this is what my life would look like. But my boys know what crystals are. They know how we prepare their herbs for their spiritual baths. They know how to greet their ancestors in the mornings. They're beginning to understand what colors their chakras are, how to talk to their food, how to speak life into their food, learning affirmations, and that they were the catalyst. They are the reason um, that I'm healing. Like, they are the reason that I show up the way I do. I'm starting to become my reason, but sometimes we need something outside of ourselves to be our why. And for me, they are my why. They are why I get up. Um, I do this for them for sure. And to see them like reflect that back to me, like to see them be like, "Mommy, you're so amazing." Or even when they be checking me on my own stuff, when I can't find my keys and I'm getting flustered and they're like, "Mommy, take a breath." Or, "Mommy, did you call your keys back to you? Did you ask spirit where your keys were?" It's just really, it's a really dope way to live. And it's not easy. It takes work and it takes effort. Um, ooh, but it's worth it. It is truly, 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 truly worth it. And so that's how I got here. It has not been an easy journey. I am not perfect by child any means. And as we continue this journey together on this podcast, I will continue to share all the I don't want to say flaws, but all my character building opportunities that I have learned, and I hope to just share it so you know you're not alone no matter where you are on your journey. So you know that this is a lifestyle and that no, it's not easy, but once you in that flow, once you feel how amazing it feels to be authentically you, how freeing and peaceful it feels to be healing and to be you, and to know from every guest I bring on this podcast to myself that you are not alone. And my intention, my prayer for this podcast is that you get tools to take with you on your journey. You hear that one piece of confirmation and you hear that one thing that really and truly speaks to you, that gives you the motivation to keep going, that gives you the encouragement to hang in there and stay with it, that helps you feel seen, helps you feel like you got a spiritual bestie digitally, whatever that is for you. That is my intention and my prayer that this podcast is and will be for you and for us. All right. So you'll get meditations, you'll get insights, you'll get downloads, you'll get tools and tips and all the things. And I'm just super happy and blessed to be here with y'all, like for real, for real. Okay, so we're gonna close out. because I'll talk y'all head off all day. I'm also learning that I talk more than I think I do. So we're gonna pull a card. I'm just gonna ask Spirit to give us a chakra card for this episode. My chakra cards have affirmations on them, so you might get any confirmation that you need. Yo, this is crazy. So I'm currently teaching a course called Spring into Purpose. And we pulled the card last night at the end of class. And the same card has just came out. So we must all be in this thing right now. So the card that came up, the fifth chakra, our throat chakra. Okay. Our throat chakra is exactly where it is. It's in our throat, in our heart, in that throat space. The way this can physically manifest when you have blockages and you have stagnancy in the throat chakra, this might look like dry throat. This might look like sore throat. Whenever you get sick, maybe it's always in your throat. Maybe there's like tension and tightness in your neck. So when you have any energetic or spiritual stagnancy in the throat and in the neck, this is how it begins to manifest physically. All right. So if you're listening to this episode, whenever you're listening to it, I'm sure this is when you'll need it. Our theme for the throat chakra today is setting boundaries. All right. I know we all be needing that. Listen, Linda. So our affirmations. I teach others how to love and respect me by how I love and respect myself. My integrity is supported when I express my thoughts and feelings. I am aware of excessively wanting to please others. I will maintain and grow my personal power by saying yes when I mean yes and saying no when I want to say no. I speak up for myself and I set boundaries regarding other people's behavior. I do this by asking for what I do want, such as respect, patience, tolerance, and support, rather than telling them what I don't want. And I think that, not think, what I feel is that this card, and this is like the third time this card has come up this week whenever I'm doing anything. So I think what Spirit is really wanting us to understand is focus on what you want out of a situation. Focus on the solution, not the problem. The problem's already there. The problem's already happening. The problem is already in your face. So you giving all of your energy to the problem, being mad, being resentful, being all the things, that's not going to get you where you want to go. You need to, first of all, look at how that problem is triggering you, because that's what you need to go heal. That's the first and foremost, right? And then secondly, if you stay solution based, it's not a problem. It's an opportunity for you to grow. It's an opportunity for you to stand in your integrity. It's an opportunity for you to say and do and move how you said you was going to do and move if they did it again. Okay? So focus on really making sure you're saying what it is you said you was going to say if they did that thing again. And focusing on communicating what you want, not what you don't want. That's how you shift the energy and the narrative of the conversation and the outcome so that it can move and be what you need it to be for your highest good. All right. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Oops, 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 oops. I appreciate y'all. And episodes will be dropping every Wednesday. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow, rate, leave a comment. If there are any topics that you want me to dive deeper in, if it has anything to do with spirituality, with movement, with healing as a lifestyle, working with ancestors, healing with your crystals and healing with your herbs, shoot me a message, or just anything lifestyle, motherhood, friendships, all the things. Shoot me a message, send me a DM, shoot me an email, leave a comment, let me know so I can also know what it is you guys are looking for and the ways that I can support y'all. All right? I'll see y'all next time.